Good evening, everyone. It's late night. The 49ers just lost on a walk-off 51-yard field goal to the Packers, 30-28. You guys are probably drunk and mad. So here I go. I'm your man. I'm going to say what you guys want me to say. I'm going to express your innermost feelings. But I'm not mad at all. Remember, I don't root for the 49ers. When the Niners win, that's cool by me. When they lose, that's also cool by me. This is very dramatic. I can't look at my face. Do I look mad? Do you think I'm a 49ers fan right now? What do you think? That's my face. That's how I feel right now. That's my feelings after that game. Okay, so let's start with the first person that makes me go like this. Okay. The biggest GOAT of this game, the main reason the 49ers lost to the Packers. DeMeco Ryans. I praised him big time last week for holding down the Eagles. You know, in retrospect, I went over the top. He's not that good. He's not. And, you know, it's funny. The Niners make a big deal that they can't play Trey Lance because they're a veteran team and they're in win now mode. Well, same thing goes for DeMeco Ryans. He's a rookie. He's a rookie. Talk about Trey Lance being a rookie. DeMeco Ryans is a rookie. This is supposed to be a win now team, a championship contender. And you got some guy learning on the job. Let's talk about all the things DeMeco Ryans failed at in this game. First of all, he did nothing good. Nothing he called worked. There was no run defense. There was no pass rush. There was no coverage. He was 0 for 3. He took 3 mighty cuts and whiffed. 0 for 3. You strike out. Sit down. Okay. Why does his defense, why did it stink so much in this game? 31 points? Okay. So he could generate 0 pressure against a bad offensive line missing its top 2 left tackles. 0 pressure. That's on him. Now, I know he has a good 4-man pass rush, supposedly. That's supposed to. I mean, it didn't show up. Nick Bosa, were you there? D Ford, haven't seen you since week 1, although I think you're on the field. But that's no excuse. A good defensive coordinator doesn't sit back and watch his 4-man pass rush get nowhere and then just say, well, I guess we don't got it today. It's the oldest adage in defense. If you can't get there with 4, rush 5. If you can't get there with 5, rush 6. It is unacceptable to let any quarterback, let alone a Hall of Famer, maybe the greatest quarterback of all time or up there with Aaron Rodgers, greatest arm of all time, just let him sit back there and do his taxes, crunch numbers. He was just crunching numbers in the pocket. Is that what's flying the streets, crunching numbers? Yeah, apparently. So no pressure. Let's start there. No run defense and really predictable coverages. I'm watching from the press box, and I see there's no disguise. 0 disguise. Almost no disguise. Very rarely will you see the 49ers rotate their safeties after the snap. Whatever they line up in, they do. If it looks like man coverage before the snap, it's man coverage. If it looks like single high safety before the snap, it's single high. And so what you have is when they go split safety with a light box, it's an automatic 5 yards on the ground against them. And then when they go 8-man in the box with a single high safety, all you got to do if you're a good quarterback with some decent receivers is pick out the matchup you like best pre-snap and throw it deep down outside the number. That's what Aaron Rodgers did. So what you have here is a coordinator who can't manufacture pressure on the quarterback. He's at the mercy of his 4-man pass rush. He can't disguise his coverages, or he isn't. And he can't stop the run. You know what he is? A freaking rookie. A guy learning on the job. And if this team wasn't compatible, ready for Trey Lance because they're so good and so veteran and so old, well, they weren't ready for DeMeco Ryans either. So DeMeco Ryans, the GOAT of the game, he had 37 seconds to stop an offense with no timeouts and couldn't do it. Now, I understand he left the middle of the field open. Usually that's what you want to do. You want to guard against the sidelines because you got to keep the clock going, but Packers only needed a few yards. They needed 30, 40 yards. Anyway, DeMeco Ryans, I wasn't surprised. 37 seconds left. Is DeMeco going to find something that's going to work? No. What adjustment did he have in this game that was good? This is a problem. You think the 49ers are Super Bowl contenders? Not with this coordinator, not now. He's going to have to improve a whole lot between now and January, February, for this team to sniff the Super Bowl. He is the biggest problem on the team right now. I don't know if the Niners have a good defense. They look good when they go up against Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts, but they're not going to face quarterbacks like that for a while. Next week, they got Russell Wilson. The week after that, they got Kyler Murray. Good luck. D'Amico. He looks like the biggest weakness on the team right now. D'Amico. Sorry. Dylan says K1 and Russ about to drop 80. How will we stop them? Oh, D'Amico will have a plan. Don't worry. He's really good. The clock management, we need corners. We need Trey to start. Jimmy's so frustrating. High passes, D-line couldn't get pressure on third string. O-line, horrible. I hear you, man. I'm going to get to Jimmy too. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the donation too, Lenny. I appreciate you. Oh, man. Hold on. Every game this season has been heartbreaking for different reasons. It's time to abandon 2019 vibes and play Lance to get him reps. Goodbye, Jimmy. I mean, that's not really my takeaway from this game, and I'm a big Trey Lance fan. But I don't know if Trey Lance would have won this game either. The Niners have bigger problems than which quarterback should they start? Way bigger. I think they lose this game with either one. I'm late. Jimmy always makes enough mistakes to lose. Is it time for more Trey? Whitner thinks so. Yeah, I would say time for more Trey, but again, the offense isn't really the reason the Niners lost this game. Juan says D-line can't get pressure because they don't practice. Yeah, there's something to that. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next thing. I got like 4 or 5 topics. Take about a half hour, and then after that, I'm going to go right into the Discord server and have a group chat. If you want to participate, get in the group Discord server. If you're not in there, subscribe to my YouTube, and then you'll get the invite. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little press conference after, but I'm still going. Let's talk Kyle. Let's give Kyle some blame. I mean, look, his offense was good. 28 points. I thought they would score 27. That was my prediction. And I said there's no way they're getting to 27 without Trey Lance scoring once. They're going to top out around 20 points with Jimmy, and they're going to need Trey Lance to get him the rest of the way. He did. Kyle Shanahan used Trey Lance appropriately in the red zone when he needed him. 27 points. It's hard to get mad at Kyle Shanahan for that. Now, there was one play where he had 4th and 1 at midfield and didn't go for it. I was like, hey, man, you might want to use Trey Lance here. That was weak. But really, I think it's hard to blame Kyle Shanahan you can't blame the offense really for the loss. Now, you can blame a couple decisions from Kyle Shanahan, like 1st and 10 at the 12 with 40-something seconds left. You could have taken all the time off the clock and ensured that Aaron Rodgers didn't get the ball back. You didn't do that. You got the touchdown. Fine. But let's be honest. 2 things that Kyle Shanahan is ultimately responsible for. The biggest reasons they lost this game. He hired D'Amico Ryans. He hired him. And we all gave him the benefit of the doubt because he hired Robert Saleh too. And you're like, hey, well, we didn't know who Robert Saleh was. And he was right. So maybe Kyle can really pick these coaches. Bad hire. I mean, maybe he'd be a good hire for the Jets who are going nowhere and he can learn on the job. But you can't learn on the job here. You need a defensive coordinator who's good now. For example, the Rams lost their defensive coordinator this year too. And they hired Raheem Morris, who has been a head coach. He's been a coordinator forever. Vet, ready to go. They're 3-0. Seems like all the things the Rams did this offseason are working, and the things the Niners did this offseason aren't. Hiring D'Amico Ryans was a big mistake. You could have done better. You didn't even look outside the organization. You just promoted a guy who's never called a play, never made an adjustment, and is struggling. But that's not it, Kyle. I got more for you. And I'm not talking about your play calls today. I'm talking big picture. Okay, so Jimmy's not quite good enough, and you don't like Trey either. Jimmy couldn't win this game. Trey might not have been able to win it either. Doesn't seem like you're particularly thrilled about either guy. Well, you should have got someone you like this offseason. You should have made a bigger push for Matthew Stafford. He's looking really freaking good right now. And you said you wanted him, but you didn't get it done. And then you wanted Aaron Rodgers. You tried that one, couldn't get that one done either. It seems like Kyle Shanahan is constantly looking for some quarterback he can't get. That's him. That's on him. He hired the wrong defensive coordinator, and he couldn't get a quarterback he wants. So he's stuck with Jimmy, who, frankly, is outperforming him. Frankly. So Kyle Shanahan, I mean, you can feel like you called the right plays most of the time tonight, but dude, you hired the wrong defensive coordinator. It's year 5 and you can't get a quarterback that you like. So the two biggest decisions that you have to make, you're failing at. But you had some good calls on third down. Good. You had some nice plays in the red zone. But ultimately, your decision to not even look outside the organization for a defensive coordinator is going to cost this team this year. That was a bad decision by a head coach who majors in making bad decisions. He specializes. He's got a bad decision major with a minor in blowing big leads and a specialization in hating all his quarterbacks. What did you think of Alex Mack? He had a few bad snaps. I mean, he's all right. He gave up a sack. But yeah, he did. Yes, defense was bad, but Jimmy will always make these mistakes in almost every game. What was it, 45 turnovers and 32 starts? Yeah. Yeah, he's just not that good. Grant, please address the 12 left on the clock before Juice Tech TD throw and how Aaron Rodgers used those 12 seconds. Yeah, there's that. Also, Juszczyk should have gone down. Like, it's on Kyle. Like, you should have ran the ball, but Juszczyk, you should know. You went to Harvard. Know the situation. Go down. Kyle Shanahan is the best/worst coach. Yeah, that's a good way to sum him up. He's the best/the worst. Let's talk Jimmy. After a game like this, there is an urge to defend Jimmy. There's always an urge to defend Jimmy. My dad went on Twitter and was like, this loss wasn't necessarily squarely on Jimmy. And then my guy, Nick Newman, went on a long rant after the game. It was phenomenal. Check him out on Twitter. Saying, don't blame Jimmy for the loss. It's on Kyle. I'm with you. Do we have to do this every week where we say it's not Jimmy's fault? Don't blame Jimmy. Okay, I'm not blaming Jimmy. Can we still say that he's not that good, though? Okay, it wasn't his fault that he lost this game. It wasn't. It was D'Amico Ryan's fault. It was more Kyle and D'Amico. It was coaching. But at the same time, he's not that good. If he were Matthew Stafford, the Niners win. If he were Aaron Rodgers, the Niners win. But the fact is, he's middling. He went up against a terrible defense and struggled for 3 quarters. Fumbled, threw a pick, ended up with a quarterback rating of 87. Jameis Winston looked like freaking Brett Favre against this defense 2 weeks ago. Jared Goff looked like vintage Jared Goff against this defense 1 week ago. Jimmy, he looks the same against every defense. We were thinking, against the Packers, no pass rush. He should light him up like he did in the past. No, he's not going to do that anymore. He's not lighting anyone up. He's a modest quarterback, and it wasn't his fault that he lost, but he's not good enough. He should not be on this team right now. They correctly evaluated him last year as not good enough. They were right. He's not good enough. He's not the reason they lost this game, but he's not good enough. You need to improve. And what did they do? They whiffed on Matthew Stafford. They whiffed on Aaron Rodgers and then went some desperate plan C, trading up for a rookie who's 21 that the head coach doesn't think is ready. That's desperate. So I'm not blaming Jimmy Garoppolo for this loss, but the fact that he's still the starting quarterback of this team says everything you need to know about Kyle Shanahan. You don't like him. You're right about him, and yet you can't move on. You can't find an actual replacement. I don't blame Jimmy for that. It's hard to blame Jimmy for being Jimmy. I'm going to no longer blame Jimmy Garoppolo for being Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, yeah, that fumble in the fourth quarter was pathetic. But, I mean, that's Jimmy. He actually, protected the football for 2 games. He fumbled on the first snap against the Lions, pretty much protected the football the next 2. This was coming. We know who Jimmy is. I'm not going to knock him for being himself. I'm just going to knock the organization for letting this happen. You tried to talk yourself into him having some kind of a leap this year? No, he's the same guy. Scrappy, resilient, and not good enough. That's what he is. And you know that. And yet he's still here. The Niners have themselves to blame. He passed on Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's truth. Should we be worried about Lance's development? Yeah. What development? On the scout team? When is the development going to happen? When will he be allowed to develop? David says, let's be real. No way we beat the Rams with Jimmy. This D needs more help from the O. Yeah, man. I mean, they squeaked by the Lions and Eagles. And in retrospect, like, you were playing toe-to-toe with non-playoff teams. Now you go up against a playoff team and you gave it away. I mean, you came back from 17-0, but you lost. Joseph said, put some of it on our D coordinator. I put most of it on the D coordinator. How do you not double Adams? That's all they had. But nah, let's keep him in man against our mediocre secondary. Yeah, D'Amico is a weakness, major weakness. My G, is Trey Sermon the worst running back on the roster? Yeah, that's why he wasn't active week 1. We saw it. He's not good. He's slow. He's not explosive. He's not good. That was a bad draft pick. All right, Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk was in the doghouse the first 2 weeks. Kyle Shanahan wasn't pleased with how he was practicing or something, and he was saying that, he's fine, but it's just that Trent Sherfield's really good too. Well, Brandon Ayuk finally got the ball today, and he looked really freaking good. Let me just remind you that Brandon Ayuk is really freaking good. And whatever Kyle Shanahan was saying the last couple of weeks about why he wasn't getting the ball or it was ridiculous. It was baloney. Do you still think Trent Sherfield is as good as Brandon Ayuk? Kyle? Because he's not. I like Trent Sherfield. Not as good as Brandon Ayuk. Not sure what you were doing the last 2 weeks, what message you were trying to send. Anyway, you got Brandon Ayuk involved today. He's a hell of a player. Really a hell of a wide receiver. I still don't understand what Kyle Shanahan was trying to accomplish or whatever in the first 2 weeks. What? This guy's really good. What were you thinking there? But the thing about Brandon Ayuk, Kittle too, every time they got the ball, it seemed like they got smacked right away. It's going to be really hard for Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, everyone knows he's not throwing deep. So when he throws these slants over the middle, the safeties are just crushing these wide receivers. He's going to get one of these guys hurt just because they don't respect his deep ball. You saw what happened when Jimmy tried to throw deep. Wasn't good. Got intercepted. That's why they don't call those plays for him. Anyway, Brandon Ayuk, I just want to really briefly touch on the fact that that whole narrative the last 2 weeks was a joke. He's not in the – like, what? He should have gotten the ball those games. All right, last topic, and then I'm going to go to the Discord. Are the 49ers good? I don't know. They're 2-1, but they beat the Lions and the Eagles. The Seahawks are 1-2, but they lost to – who'd they lose to? They lost to – who'd they lose to? Minnesota and Tennessee. Does this Niner team look like a team that would beat Minnesota or Tennessee right now? I don't think so. I was thinking before this game that the Seahawks were definitely the worst team in the division. Now I don't know. Do you think the Niners are going to win next week against the Seahawks? I don't know. This defense isn't good. The coordinator isn't good. They're going up against another Hall of Fame quarterback with some serious wide receivers. Are the Niners good? I mean, they don't have a good defensive coordinator. They have a very talented defense that's playing terribly right now. They have 2 quarterbacks they don't really trust. They have a bunch of injured running backs, a bunch of injured cornerbacks, an offensive line that was pathetic today. Great tight end, great wide receiver, 2 really good wide receivers, a talented team. Is it good, though? I don't know. It feels mediocre. Now, they did at least make it a game. They competed. And what Kyle Juszczyk said afterwards is they can take heart in the fact that they made it a game. They didn't blink. They fell behind, yada, yada, yada. They lost. They lost to a soft team that doesn't travel well, that they were at home. They were going up against a terrible offensive line and a terrible defensive line, and they couldn't win. It seems to me that with this liability at defensive coordinator and, this serviceable, mediocre quarterback situation you got, you're always going to struggle against good offenses with good quarterbacks. How do you keep up? Your offense is plodding and slow. Your defense is non-existent. I don't know if the Niners are good, guys. They're going to need D'Amico Ryans to improve very rapidly, or that ain't their year. I just find the irony just amazing that they won't play Trey Lance because he's a rookie, but they hired a novice defensive coordinator. Kyle, do you see the irony there? Where's the consistency? Oh, it's a vet team, so Trey Lance can't play, but we're hiring D'Amico and we're not even going to interview anyone else. It's almost like when Jed hired Mike Singletary without interviewing anyone else. Kyle, what? So, yeah, I don't know if the Niners are good. They seem like they're mediocre. The kind of team that's going to win as many games as they lose, or roughly. I don't know. They're going to win next week? I don't know. They certainly could lose to the Seahawks. They certainly could lose to the Cardinals. We're going to have to see some improvement because so far this team looks like a team that's going to be, fighting until the end against every team they face. They can't put a team away. They're not dominant. The 2019 team was dominant. They would win by multiple touchdowns weekly. This team, nope. Are the Niners good? I can't say that they are. They're not a bad team, but they definitely don't feel like a Super Bowl contender at this moment. Keneal says we're not winning this division without Trey. Why are we kidding ourselves? Kyler, Russ, Stafford, Jimmy, we're handicapping ourselves. Yeah, what I feel is like, okay, maybe Trey Lance isn't better than Jimmy Garoppolo now, but Jimmy is just the same guy all the time. And if you were to play Trey Lance, he might improve as the season went along and you might get something better at quarterback. But I don't know. This whole season feels like kind of a misevaluation, a miscalculation. You want to go to the Super Bowl and you hire DeMeco Ryans. How do those things go together? V.O. Walker says we can't even be mad at Jimmy. He was just being Jimmy, which is not good enough, unfortunately. His pat the baby routine has got to go. Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm not mad at Jimmy, man. He was himself. He battled. He gave him a lead with like 37 seconds left. You can't be mad at Jimmy. He was fine, but he's also not great. Yo, hold on. Thank you, dude. And thank you, dude. Appreciate it. David says Jimmy gotta go. Daniel unskilled Mike McFlinchy. That's hilarious. Daniel unskilled. That's rough. Robert says even the rookies didn't fumble like Jimmy did. Would the 49ers really be worse with Trey in? I don't know, man. Would they be better, though? It seems to me that this is a win-now team with a mediocre starting quarterback, a 21-year-old backup, and a novice defensive coordinator. They're not quite in position to make the run they want to make. The Rams are. The Rams are all in, and their moves are working. Okay, let me see if I can get this Discord chat working. Let's get in here. What's up, guys? Can you hear me? Okay. Let me see if I can bring this into the hold on. Boom. Boom. Okay, let's do it. How you guys doing?
What's up?
Bad. Before we go, can people in the comment section just confirm that you hear the speakers in the Discord channel? Say something. Test 1, 2, 3, 4.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. What Kyle doing in the first half?
What was Kyle doing in the first half? Just real quick. Can someone in the YouTube comments say that you hear him? No?
Raymond, I'll tell you what Kyle was doing. He was proving a point to the team.
They're quiet.
Well, dude, I mean, the second half, like that drive, we had to make a lot of clutch plays too. What is going on where it's the last?
Yeah, we're very quiet.
Why are they so quiet? That's weird. I really suck at technology. I'm so sorry. I want this to work, and I always find a new issue every time. It's really quiet, right?
Wasn't there a way you solved this last time? I don't know.
It was, but it was 2 weeks ago, and I knew this was going to happen.
I don't remember how you solved it. Oh, it was changing something with how the in and out was going through your headphones or something like that, or through your AirPods.
Yep.
Something like that.
I think you might have to adjust the sliders on the OBS.
Sliders on the OBS, huh?
You got it.
I'm not on OBS. Can you guys hear me better now?
Are you on Streamlabs?
Yeah, I'm on StreamYard.
Oh, okay. So that's different.
I don't know why it's so quiet. I knew this wasn't going to work. Oh, so much frustration. Hello, hello, hello.
You had it for like a second. I don't know what happened there.
Anyone in there want to help me out? Like, what's going on here? In here? Okay. Boom. How about now?
Like, what's going on here? In here?
Test.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about now?
It's just really faint. Default. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm really an idiot. Default.
It's really fake.
Now talk.
Could
See,
you
I don't
hear
hear
us?
anyone at default.
Default,
You guys hear him
hold
on
on.
default?
I'm sorry. I'm
Nope.
really an
Go
idiot.
back. Go back to
Default.
what? Go back to what?
You got it.
Oh, default? But I don't hear you guys on default.
No.
We're good now?
You're good on default. You're good on default.
But I can't hear you guys when you're on default.
Yeah. Oh, well, we could hear them. Or we could hear everyone when it was on default. You have a headset or something?
Hold on. Yeah, I do have a headset. Yeah, I do have a headset. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going here.
I want the middle one.
Speakers.
The middle one work for you?
That one?
Yeah, I do have a headset. Yeah, I do have a headset. Hold on.
Okay, let me get my
Okay.
my headphones.
Okay, so I'm going here. Speakers.
Middle one work for you?
Got headphones here.
Okay, let me just get a
Sorry guys. I am very unprofessional. Try my best. Okay. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, can you guys hear them on
Okay, everyone's loving this right now, so you're completely good, Grant.
All right, we're good. Sweet. All right, cool. I'm loud. All right, you guys, we figured it out. All right, what's on your mind? Let's talk.
So earlier we said what happened in the first half, and somebody said, Jack, I think, said that Kyle's trying to make a statement. So, do you guys, what do you think that statement is? Somebody said, Jack, you said that Kyle's trying to make a statement.
Hey, Josh, I think we're getting a little feedback from your. Yeah. So I think the statement was to players like George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, and pretty much all the stars that really side with Jimmy Garoppolo. That hey, this is a big game that we should be winning. We bullied this team 2 years ago twice, and they couldn't get anything going. And Jimmy looked bad. I was there watching it. Pretty clear. He was throwing behind receivers, overthrowing people. I mean, you guys saw it too. So
And even though you guys say the first half, even the second half, even the last series, it looked like the series before that was unsuccessful. What I'm saying is that it's not an offense that's repeatable. Like what we did in the second half. Don't expect that to happen all the time. That's not going to happen all the time.
I want to say real quick. I think it's an interesting premise. What is Kyle Shanahan trying to do? What is his master plan? What is his logic here? I think it's a false question because it assumes that he has a plan. I think what we're seeing here is Kyle has no plan. He doesn't have the quarterbacks he wants. I don't know what he did hiring DeMeco Ryans, but that guy ain't ready to do this. And you're seeing a team that has no identity, that's kind of floundering around. It's not a bad team, but they should have Stafford right now. They should have a quarterback who's ready to go. Okay, you don't want a rookie? This is a win-now team. Trey Lance isn't on your timeline. DeMeco Ryans isn't on your timeline. What is this? You should have Raheem Morris and Matthew Stafford on your team right now, but the Rams have them, and they're 3-0, and they're dominating. They just kicked shit out of the Bucs, and you couldn't put away the Lions or the Eagles.
Hey, do you think that we have a gimmicky offense that relies too much on?
No, it's a good offense. It's a good scheme. It's a head coach who doesn't have a freaking plan. He doesn't. He had no plan at quarterback. It's year 5. He still doesn't have a plan at quarterback. No plan. And he did a great job with Robert Saleh. Didn't do a great job of placing him. And so now you're trying to figure out he scored 28 points. That was good. Well, let's go big picture here. What team has he put together here? Are the Niners even good? Are the Niners a good team? I don't know. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm not saying they're good either.
Yeah.
This goes back to the original question was, when you think about it, though, like, what is he trying to prove? Like what Jack was saying, though, is like you're saying, maybe there is no plan. Maybe it's just things are going to go the way they're kind of going right now. But I mean, if you're looking at the decisions that they have made so far, and after this game, the loss, and we just do look at some of the things that were, some of the culprits. Yeah, bad defense, some bad quarterback play, but coaching has been so suspect, like every week lately. And you really start to think, like, is it getting to Kyle at this point to where is something going on where the game plans just aren't that good either?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Trey Lance would have won this game either. Nothing against Trey Lance. He's just a rookie and he hasn't got much playing time. And the offense wasn't the problem. I think what we're seeing here is the first plan this offseason was probably Stafford, and they didn't get it done. The second plan was probably Rodgers, and they didn't get that done either. They were trying to trade for Rodgers the day of the freaking draft. They didn't get it done, and they drafted Trey Lance instead. That felt like a desperation move. It felt like a desperation move. Not that it was the wrong move, but what's the plan? The plan was Stafford and then Rodgers, and then you got here as like a plan C desperation move, and now you don't like either quarterback, and your defense isn't good. Like there is no plan.
Didn't Rodgers say he wanted to come to the Bay?
He did, and you know what? Maybe the Niners could have got him, but they didn't, and they didn't get Mahomes, and they didn't get Brady, and it's like I'm not going to give him these excuses anymore. It's year 5. I don't see a plan. I don't.
Getting Rodgers last year wasn't going to happen. That was all dependent on Green Bay. They're not going to do it. They weren't going to do it last year. But so when it comes to this offense, I see. Well, the defense right now has 2 gaping holes. One is the secondary. One, we have a rookie defensive coordinator. The offense, we couldn't even run the ball today. Like we have a 0-dimensional offense right now. We can't run the ball. The passing everything seems so damn hard. Like everything has to go our way for it to happen.
Agree. Yeah.
Grant.
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Right. Do you think this game is a test that we shouldn't play Juszczyk on special teams and we should just keep him on offense?
How did I know you were going to ask about Juszczyk? I don't know about that because Juszczyk's great, but hey, great game for Kyle. He finally got the ball 9 times. 9
Did you see him handing the ball off?
And I was screaming for him to drop at the 1-yard line.
Juszczyk should get the ball more. He scores when he gets the ball. He scores more than George Kittle. I'm just saying. That's the truth.
Remember,
he's tight end number 2.
Do you guys remember 10 years ago when there was a running back that could have went into the end zone and he stopped right at the 1?
That was last Todd Gurley.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think Juszczyk probably should have done that.
Yeah, that's what
Didn't occur to him. Someone asked him after the game, like, "Do you think you should have went down?" He's like, "I really wasn't thinking about that." Yeah, you might have.
Yeah, they had 3 timeouts. I would rather lose with the offense on the field.
Yep, exactly. If you can't get it from the 1 with 3 timeouts, then I can go, okay, then you don't deserve to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can put that on Kyle Shanahan. Like that, Rodgers never should have had that final drive. And just because D'Amico couldn't figure out, it's like 37 seconds to get a field goal. Rodgers, good luck, dude. Good luck.
More than enough.
It's happened. Heineke did it this year. Hank Heineke, whatever the guy from Washington, did it this year.
And Rodgers has done it a million times.
And then Brady did it week 1. It's like
he's not nervous.
You know what? Lamar did it twice already this year.
Exactly.
So what's up, Grant? Do you think Rodgers is coming home
next year? Man, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
I don't think so, man. I don't. There's a lot of season left, man. We gotta see after this. We gotta see how the season ends up.
You sound like a Laker fan now, Jeremy. But the problem is the Lakers actually do get the people they want.
Look, if Kyle Shanahan ends up getting fired or traded, it's all gonna be because he couldn't figure out which quarterback he needed. Couldn't figure it out.
Grant.
Yes.
Hey,
Grant.
which team?
Grant, do you think we gave up too many yards on penalties?
Of course. Yeah, they gave up like 84 yards on 4 penalties. Add that to the 350 yards they gave up. I mean, that's yes, it's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, but I think defensive players are taught that, right? Like, hey, if you're gonna give a big play, just get the flag.
No. In college, because it's a 10-yard penalty, but in the NFL, it's a spot foul. So that's no good. That's no good.
Hey, Grant.
Yeah.
Hey, so what did you think about Fred Warner's play today?
It wasn't good. Who on the defense played well today? Anyone? He's the leader, though.
How many times did they touch Aaron Rodgers?
Twice. Hey, where the hell was Nick Bosa?
Which offensive line had troubles coming into this game, and which defensive line was supposed to be full healthy? You know,
how did the Packers beat up the Niners in the trenches? What happened?
What I saw with Bosa on the replays is he was doing good in the first quarter. Yeah.
And then he disappeared the rest of the game.
And they started chipping him with a receiver. They would have a receiver chip him, and then the left tackle take care of him as well.
I guess if you chip Nick Bosa, he's not as effective. I got to say that this stuff wouldn't be happening if the Niners still had DeForest Buckner. They really acted like he wasn't that important, and they got rid of him and replaced him with a run stuffer and didn't really understand the domino effect that losing him would have on their pass rush, because playing Buckner next to Bosa gave Bosa lots of one-on-ones that he's not getting anymore. That's another mess up. Kyle and his
I was
decisions.
asking that question all your season. I was granted Buckner make Bosa look better.
Yes! Yes, he did.
Asante Samuel Jr. got another pick today, by the way.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Hey, guys, Trey Sermon. Ooh. Not
Fired.
Yeah, Trey. Well, when you look at Sermon, it makes us think again, though. When you just look at like some of the players they pick in this regime, it's like you know what they did well in college, and you know you don't run that type of offense right now. So what makes you think that guy's going to translate?
I think he was supposed to be a change of pace running back. Like it's not. This is
his skill
But
set.
he's not a bruiser. He's not a bruiser. He's
No,
not.
but it's not about
hold
being
on.
a
His
like
skill set.
Kevin
Hold
Coleman.
on. His skill set is supposed to match up with Lance's. Sermon ran in the zone read in spread offenses in college with Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields. I thought when the Niners went Lance 1, Banks 2, Sermon 3, that they were all meant to play together. Banks is an outside zone offensive lineman. He's bullying people up the middle. Same with Sermon. I thought they were all supposed to go together. Maybe the Niners figured out in May or June that none of those guys were going to be contributing this year. It doesn't make any – what is the Niners' plan? What is the plan? Why do we think they have a plan? There's no plan. There is no plan.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
they
like,
made
man,
it.
Entire
most of
defense.
the first 3 round picks is just like
Ugh.
they're not even,
Yeah.
it's looking bad
For
right now.
most of this game, I saw in the Eagles game, for a lot of the game. In this game, on the broadcast, you could see all 11 defenders within like 15 yards in the same frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that all just played up. And that's why nothing. That's why I was saying, like, every guy that caught a ball today, it seemed like there was 4 or 5 guys just ready to pounce on him. Like, I swear, I was like, yeah, on the offense.
That's because everyone knows that Jimmy's not throwing down the field. So if you're throwing slants over the middle and the safeties aren't respecting the deep stuff, they're just going to annihilate the wide receivers. And we saw that a bunch of times tonight.
Yeah.
How good is Devo Samuel through all that contact, man?
He is good. I mean, he did drop a couple of passes, but honestly, what he, Kittle, and Ayuk have to do just to get open and get yards is brutal.
Yeah,
Brutal.
that's not repeatable.
No,
it's not
brutal.
repeatable.
It's brutal.
Grant,
Yes.
Jair Alexander is a beast.
Grant, can we give a big shout out to Talon, the receiver, the kick returner? Because without that big kick return,
The special teams was better than the offense today. 68 yards in the kick return and then 23 yards on 2 punt returns. That's 91 yards. That's 9 first downs.
They're the only one that gets a good grade.
9 first downs on special teams. That's great. That's why I wanted them to play. That's why I wanted them to have Brandon Ayuk be the punt returner. He's now averaging, or in this game, he averaged, 11 and a half yards per punt return? That's phenomenal. I mean, when John Taylor was the Niners punt returner, he averaged 10 yards a punt. When Tim Brown punt return, when Tim Brown was the Raiders punt returner, 10 yards a punt return. Those are legit punt returners. That's a first down before your offense gets on the field. You want that. Ayuk gives you that. He's so good. Good for the Niners for listening to us.
That Canyon looks good as well.
On that one.
That Canyon looks good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job for Cannon. Good job for Ayuk. Good job for the special teams. If only they had a defense. What happened, man? It's wild because, the defense is looking real shabby without Robert Saleh, and then Saleh's in New York looking terrible. I mean, that team looks like they'd be lucky to win 4 games.
Hey, you know what's crazy,
I mean,
though?
well,
you know what's
look,
crazy?
though, in the first half,
pretty good.
In the first half, did they not get some really good stops to prevent them from scoring more? Because it could have been blowout. But it could have been blowout city. It was looking like
no doubt.
In the first
but
half.
the Niners have talent on their defense, and the problem is they have a coordinator who makes no adjustments and makes no disguises with his coverage and can't generate pressure. Other than that, he's really good.
Yeah, well, I've been watching the Jets game, like this game and the last game. Their defense for their offense puts them in trash situations, and they have a bunch of guys out too. They lost Lawson, their best pass rusher. They actually look pretty damn good.
The Jets have a good defense, but their offense is so bad. Their offense is so bad, and I could have predicted this. I never respected Mike LaFleur. I don't know what he did on the 49ers. That offense is horrendous. What the Jets need more than anything is me. They need me. They're in their organization, running the offense, calling the plays. Unfortunately, I'm not there. I'm over here doing quality control. There's only so much I can do. But Robert's solid, man. He'd be lucky to win 4 games with that offense this season.
This season, like, we don't have the D or the running game to carry a mediocre quarterback.
Well, I think, for a lot of us fans, we felt like coming into this season, the offense was going to have to carry the team this year because D'Amico is a rookie coordinator, and there's going to be games where he's not going to know what to do maybe in all the situations. So you would think your veteran, established offensive-minded coach would have better first-half game plans sometimes. And maybe people are like, well, Jimmy can't make those throws. Well, you know what Jimmy's limited to.
Yeah.
You know what Jimmy can do, and you're still making that decision.
That's why
so
you
that's
look
on
at
you.
Every other quarterback in the league this offseason.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Honestly, real quick, if they had just brought in Sam Darnold, they'd be better off. And I don't even like Sam Darnold. But they'd be better off right now if they had brought in Sam Darnold.
What do you with playing devil's advocate against D'Amico, but the cornerbacks we have, man. We have a rookie and a guy off the street.
Yep. I agree. And you know what? D'Amico's got to do better. He's got to do better, man. He's got to find something that works. Because today he had nothing that worked.
Why didn't we start too high at the beginning of the game? Why are we daring Aaron Rodgers to beat us?
Nothing he did worked. If he went split safety, they got gouged in the run game. They went single high, they gave up big plays. Like, nothing he did worked.
Hey, but Grant, how much? What if Kyle was like, "Look, don't kill Aaron. We need Aaron next year."
That's hilarious. If he had said that, someone in the Niners would have said it. That's hilarious. Eric says this was a botched D game plan. Fans need to cool on Lance, though. He's not going to be the Messiah. Jimmy is subpar, but Lance won't be the guy. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where the Niners are at right now. Neither quarterback is Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers now. And the defense is, man. But at least, now you got a desperate Seahawks team. Next week is going to be very interesting.
Hey, let's look at worst case scenario. The next 2 games, it's Seattle, it's Arizona. Let's say they lose both of those games, right? And they come out 2-3. Is it automatic? Do you think Trey's coming after the bye, or you think Kyle still rolls with Jimmy?
I don't even know, man. I don't even know because they're gonna think, well, we can make up these games now. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're down 2-3, but we got a bunch of easy games, so we can make it up and not take any chances, right?
I don't think that Kyle Shanahan is thinking about the future. I think he's trying to get wins however he can because he's not certain he's going to be here next year because it's a year-by-year league and he has a losing record. So I don't think he's going to all of a sudden pivot to planning for the future because I really think what he's trying to say is I can't take that for granted.
Yeah.
Grant, how did George Kittle's game improve from last week to this week?
I mean, it didn't. He got more targets. He was more involved. I mean, he's a good player, but I don't think he's breaking a lot of tackles. It's hard to break tackles when you get the ball behind the line of scrimmage and you got 4 people in your face. He played really well today, but he's a good player who should be getting the ball more. I mean, it's amazing that he only got 4 catches in the first 2 games each. So this was, more on Kyle getting the ball and Jimmy.
Hey, Grant.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I wasn't able to watch any of the post-game press conferences, but did anyone ask Kyle about if he would consider going with Trey Lance moving forward?
I missed the first 10 minutes of Kyle, so I don't know.
No one asked him.
No. Wow. What happened was I missed the first elevator down.
I mean, you can't really blame this game on Jimmy. I'm not saying you can't criticize Jimmy. You can't blame this game on Jimmy, even though he did those bad things. To me, as a fan, when I see him drive down the field, and we get a touchdown, at that point, you're like, okay, I forgive you.
Right. We're not blaming Jimmy. It's not Jimmy's fault that they lost this game. At the same time, he's not good enough. We see that.
Exactly.
It's why they tried to get a different quarterback. He's not good enough.
Jimmy should have thrown 3 interceptions.
I mean, he played fine, but everyone plays good against the Green Bay Packers defense. You saw what Jameis Winston did.
Well, you could say that's the difference between this team and everybody wants to talk about 2019 is this team is not as good right now.
No.
They're not as good.
No, not even.
The 2019 team had one of the best defenses in franchise history. This team doesn't have that.
And the run game was insane.
Yeah.
And the run game
there's a lot of things that are missing, and if you look at it from that perspective, that means that Jimmy was going to have to play lights out, no turnovers,
He
Pretty
can't do
much in
that.
every game to be competitive. That's what
can't
you're
do that.
asking him to
And
do.
That's
when
not
I
him. That's
mentioned,
not him. He's not a lights out quarterback.
yeah, when I mentioned Trey Sermon as a change of pace, I don't mean it as a bruiser. I mean kind of running inside the tackles, kind of like Tevin Coleman.
Sure,
was
but
to his
again, like
offense.
if you're drafting a change of pace running back in round 3, you already messed up. Like, you
Yeah,
already
yeah.
blew it.
You're right.
Well, we got a couple questions from the hold on real quick. We got Kiet Tran saying, why don't we use 85 correctly? On the last drive, he was lined up in the slot and had a 1v1 with a linebacker and had a 39-yard catch and run. Yeah, that's a good point, man. Why don't you get the ball to him down the field? They always ask him to break 1,000,000 tackles, and then he gets hurt, and they wonder why. Yeah, get him the
They
ball
did
down the
try.
field.
It got intercepted. Remember?
That's true. Lenny, thank you. We got Froyland says, since we are in a bad situation with our corners, what do you think of trading for Devin McCourty? Since Gilmore is too expensive, do you think is possible? The Niners don't have picks to trade. They're in a tough spot. But I wonder if they'll do something like that. Norman's hurt. K1's hurt. They got what? Emmanuel Mosley and Diamador Lenore and what? I don't know.
Dante
We
Johnson.
traded
Dante.
enough of our future away.
Do they call Richard Sherman now?
That's interesting.
The only way I say
I
yes
don't
to
think
Richard
so.
Sherman is if we get him on a vet minimum. If we get him on vet minimum, then maybe Richard Sherman.
I don't see any team hollering at Richard Sherman right now. And I hear like every couple of weeks someone say that teams are interested in him. Yeah, according to his agent, who is him. All I know is every few weeks people be like, oh, the Bucs are interested. This team is interested. No one signs him. Seems like Richard Sherman's trying to drum up a market for himself and failing. So I don't know.
What's up with your boy, man? What if you put Jimmy at corner and bring in Sherman, let Sherman play safety?
Jimmy's not a good corner. I like Jimmy, but he's a good coverage guy for a safety against tight ends. You put him against actual wide receivers, he'll get torched. We've seen it in the past. He's a very good player, but he's not a cornerback. He's not. They're not going to do that. I'll be freaking shocked if they did that. No.
We should trade for Shaw Doll and put Shaw Doll
I wasn't
at
paying
quarterback.
attention.
No
was
doubt.
Steve Ford in this game?
Kyler says was ready for Jimmy to be benched after the first drive. Funny. I said they should have benched him at halftime, but good for Jimmy Garoppolo for battling in the second half. He is resilient. David says on the last drive, Ryans called the perfect defense, but Warner didn't go deep enough in coverages, and the ball went right over his head to Adams. Oh, that's a hot take. I don't know about that, but I'll have to go back and watch the film and keep that in mind. Thank you, David. All right, guys, got anything else? We got about 15 more minutes before I need to drive home.
Grant,
I was going to
when
say
you
on that
getting
play,
there all-
I don't know if it was part of the scheme, but Demo played really soft on, even though he had a safety help on Devontae. Really played soft on him.
Okay, Gav, what were you gonna say?
I was going to ask you where you get your old 22 footage from.
I got it from a guy named Sanjit on Twitter, but I think the NFL is going to start releasing it themselves, so I think I don't have to go through the guy anymore. But if I need to, I got a guy. So Sanjit, good guy. Anyway, I mean, it's not the most. It's not like the Niners lost by 2 touchdowns. They were up by 1 with 37 seconds left, and they
That's
lost.
why.
So, I
Why
mean,
it hurt more.
I guess they can take it as a positive. You know, they're 2-1. They still have a winning record. They should have won, could have won, would have won. They could win next week and be 3-1. They could win the next 2 games. So it's not like the season's over, but it's hard to not notice that the defense has a problem. The defensive coordinator isn't good. It's hard not to notice that.
Part of the problem is when you look at this team and you look at how they performed against the Eagles in this week, and you're always like, well, that's not even them playing at their best. Maybe they're going to get better, but it's like, nah, what if that is what they're going to be this year, is inconsistent, up and down, like just that's maybe their style of play right now, because that's starting to look like that's what they're doing, whether it's struggling on offense at times, struggling on defense, but it's like the first half inconsistencies it's kind of like mind blowing when you think about it. Like, I mean, you can't even sometimes drive down past the 50-yard line in the first half sometimes. So it's kind of like, I don't know which direction they're going.
All I know is in 2019, the Niners made 2 big win now moves. They traded for D Ford and they signed Quan Alexander. Now, I'm not saying those moves were great, but they went all in. There was the attitude in the organization was this is our year. This is it. Emmanuel Sanders, we're going for it this year. And this year, it's like that's not necessarily the attitude. It's like we're good. We expect to be good, but we spent our first round pick on a project who's not going to help us this year. And we whiffed on our second round pick and we whiffed on our third round pick. And we don't really know who our quarterback is yet. And we have a novice rookie defensive coordinator. It just feels like a transitionary year.
But it feels like they
Yeah,
thought.
I
It
was
feels
gonna
like
say
they
that.
thought. It feels like
They're in
they thought
limbo.
they were. But it feels like they thought they were good enough to be able to keep this type of team, invest those first round picks in Trey Lance, and think, hey, that's not going to affect you in any other level of your team, basically, where you could have put that capital. It just seems like they thought, nah, we're good enough, and we're good enough to invest all this in somebody and keep them on the bench.
They're being very optimistic.
Hold on real quick. Vish just slid in here incognito. Yo, what's up, Vish? What's on your mind?
Nothing much. I was just doing the spaces on Twitter for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Dang, people go crazy on those. Everybody's so upset.
Really? Nice. I think it's a
I
little
mean,
overreacting to
yeah.
just like flip out. I mean, they had it. They were up. They gave it away in the end. It was a close loss.
Look,
It's discouraging, but they're 2-1.
you know what? I also think I actually want to touch on D'Amico.
Mhm.
I think he's getting too much flack. Honestly, I think what his biggest issue is what Robert Saleh pulled off last year with all those injuries, all the revolving door in the secondary, and all of that was unreal. They had an unbelievably good defense, and they played so well. D'Amico Ryans has a healthier defense than that, but what do you really expect a guy to do when you're starting a 5th-round pick, a league journeyman, an undrafted free agent, and a guy who was signed 2 weeks ago at cornerback?
To
What can you
generate
do?
some pressure, to disguise his coverages, to find it something that works.
Right, you can, but he's also a first-year defensive
True.
coordinator that's been coaching for 4 years.
That's true. And if you want to let
we have
Jimmy
to
Garoppolo
temper
off the hook for being
expectations here,
himself,
yeah.
then you can let D'Amico Ryans off the hook for being himself. I mean, what are the expectations really? That they're going to be elite? Why?
I mean, well, yeah, what?
Why?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who does this at corner? Who starts something like this at corner?
Mosley and
Which team in the NFL that has real winning aspirations? Who are the Rams starting at corner? Darius Williams, David Long Jr., Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, studs.
Who are the Bucks starting at corner when
Studs.
I mean they're not healthy right now?
Who
But
are the
it's
Packers
second round
starting at
pick
corner?
Jamel Dean,
Yeah,
second round
exactly.
pick
Yep.
Jair Alexander, Eric
Right.
Stokes.
Right. Even the
Who-
Cardinals, who everyone said was too weak a cornerback to contend. They have Byron Murphy, who's really good. Second round pick.
I want to ask you guys this. How do we get this running game to get on track? Because that's a huge concern to me, and that's the best thing that we're supposed to do, right?
It was really interesting listening to the players after the game. They were like, yeah, we really didn't have an answer for that 5-man front. They set the edge. We couldn't get our double teams in between. We're going to need Kyle and Mike McDaniel to figure something out because we had no answer for that.
The funny thing is, though, Mike Pettin really struggled with this run game, but Joe Barry, that dude is from Tampa Bay. From the Gus Bradley, Monty Kiffin tree. That's where he started coaching and stuff. So like that entire tree, they actually do a really, really good job against the Shanahan run game. They do probably the best job in the NFL, whether it's Pete Carroll, all of them. And now he also has like aspects of Vic Fangio, who was the first person to use the 6-man front against McVay in 2018 and all of that.
Yeah.
So like they were creative with their fronts, and it seemed like the Niners weren't prepared for the way they were planning to stop the run.
It was just
it seemed
interesting
like
to
they
hear
slapped them in the mouth.
Juszczyk and Kittle after the game being like, that's a really effective front against our run game, and we have to find an answer because we didn't have one today. Like, wow. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Grant.
Yeah.
Grant, you got to answer this question for me, man. I was wondering this shit the whole game. You're on the 1-yard line, and you got Jimmy G in the shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah. You're on the 50-yard line. You got 4th and 1, and you don't give the ball to Trey Lance. There's some questionable stuff here, man. Some questionable stuff.
Oh, dude, not going for it on 4th and 1 was pathetic. That was pathetic.
Yeah, I think that's the right word for it.
We've seen, like, in the modern NFL, going for it on 4th down is routine. People go for it on 4th down from their own 35.
Especially at midfield. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that tells you he didn't believe in his run game in this game. He didn't believe in his quarterback. And really, by not going for it on 4th down, he saved 4 plays because Aaron Rodgers, I think, hit Devontae Adams twice, or there was a pass interference and he hit Devontae Adams twice, and they were already past midfield.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell that was. I mean, I think he's made some bizarre decisions this year. I think everybody's waiting for this offense to explode, what the new wrinkle is. Frankly, we don't know what the new wrinkle is, and when Trey Lance has played in his 5 snaps, we haven't really seen new wrinkles other than the generic stuff everybody runs with a running quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think maybe there is no wrinkle. Maybe this has become stale, and if this has become stale, then why are you starting someone with it still? Because the only way this offense gets better, and that's what McVay told you. McVay solved this problem by doing what? Getting a quarterback where you can run the same concepts, but he's just going to execute at a level that you can't stop it.
Right. Because where Goff got to a point where he wasn't even going down the field anymore, and Stafford is.
You couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah. And now Jimmy's in the same spot. I mean, Jimmy's no better than Jared Goff. No better than him. And yeah.
I've got a bit of a negative question right here. So, say if the Niners now lose the next 2 games right here, and after the bye week, we start Jimmy, right, and we lose again, right here. Is Kyle Shanahan going to be on the hot seat then, or is he going to start warming up? Do you think?
Yeah, I do. If he gets to 2-3, 2-4, fans are going to be pissed. And I don't think the national media is really in his corner like they used to be. I'm not saying the Niners are going to fire him, but he's going to get a lot of heat if he starts piling up losses. That's just the way it is. Yes.
So if he starts Trey Lance, do you reckon that'll sort of calm the heat on him?
No, if he loses, if Trey Lance looks bad, he looks incompetent. And I think that might be one of the reasons he's not playing Trey Lance right now. Look at Justin Fields. If you throw that guy in the game right now and he doesn't look good, you look dumb. You look dumb. And if Jimmy goes out there and just looks like Jimmy, you don't look dumb. You just
all right. So is Kyle not the coach that we thought he was then? Because I thought he can make pretty mediocre to okay, decent quarterbacks look okay. And you're telling me he can't
a
execute.
Great offensive coordinator.
Exactly. He can't execute the same mediocre basic offense that he gives Jimmy with Trey.
He doesn't want to. So I guess he can't. I don't know. He doesn't want to. I don't get Kyle Shanahan.
I think he doesn't want Trey to fall into the habits that Jimmy Garoppolo has of staring down, the first read and then just drawing up Jimmy gimmies for Trey. And
we're assuming that he has a plan here. We assume
also another thing. I thought it was a little funny is the comment that that you've been hearing that my offense needs to go. Like I have to string along plays. If the first play doesn't work, then it's harder for me to get the third play. I mean that's fine because when they're rolling, they look really good. But if you have like a good offense, you can go at any time. You're volatile. You know what I'm saying? You can attack at any time. You're not dependent on a string of things happening for you to be a good offense. You get what I'm saying?
So,
yeah.
I think you bring up a good point, but I think it's in a different context. Because one of the hallmarks to me of Kyle Shanahan's play calling, especially the last 5-6 years, and I've really gotten the chance to watch him, is every game he has very much game plan specific, what I call fuck you plays. Like, oh shit, my offense isn't working. Here's a fuck you play that I know is going to get my offense 40 yards and jump start it. It's like a guarantee 40-yard play. And he'll just pull it out of his ass when, they go through 2 straight 3-and-outs and all of a sudden they're in the opponent's territory. Like, there's nothing you can do. There'll be a wide open receiver down the sideline or something like that. The last 3 games, I've not seen that one game plan specific play, whether it's in the run game or in the pass game, that just opens everything up and gives the Niners an explosive. Because you have to remember, even whether it's been Nick Mullins playing quarterback, whether it's been Jimmy Garoppolo, whoever it is, the Niners have never had issues getting explosive plays. They're always schemed up,
and they don't have them
this
now.
Offense cannot. This offense does not get any explosive
plotting,
plays.
Unexplosive offense. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so what do you think why is that happening? Is it because defense is stopping it, or is it because they've mentioned that they've dumbed down this offense to make it more manageable? Sure. Didn't they say that? Didn't they say that they kind of they didn't say dumbed down, but they've simplified this offense, right? And that's been helping Jimmy.
They
and
simplified
Trey.
The terminology.
Oh, okay.
They simplified the terminology. Yeah, they didn't simplify the
Kyle
offense.
Shanahan's run out of a little creativity, at least with the Jimmy Garoppolo offense. I mean, how many new things can you do when you're throwing the ball 7 yards inside the, no more than 7 yards beyond the line of scrimmage? How many wrinkles can you put in?
He's turning into Big Ben.
And the thing is, I've never seen, I saw it a bit with the Eagles. I saw it it seemed like every play in this game where you can see the entire Green Bay defense on the broadcast in the screen. Like you can see all the guys. there. It's like, and every time someone caught someone, there was someone right on them, like right away, like 4 or 5 guys around the ball. It's insane. It looks so hard.
Well, defenses are selling out and taking it away.
Divish is not Jimmy Ward, and he shouldn't be swearing on a channel. No Divish.
What? Oh shoot! Are you on YouTube, Grant?
Yeah.
Oh crap! My bad.
It's okay. It's all right. We learned that Jimmy Ward. We learned from Jimmy Ward that you're allowed to curse on YouTube. I didn't know, but you can.
Only Jimmy Ward's allowed to swear on his channel.
But yo, guys,
Everyone
it's
knows that.
12:15. I'm in Santa Clara. I gotta drive back to Oakland so I can get to sleep. But this was a lot of fun. We'll do it again after. We'll do it again after the next game. So thank you very
Good
much.
looking
everybody.
out, man.
Ryan, do the bomb.
Hey,
Do
Vish,
the
can you
bomb,
stay?
bro.
I want to hear your answer.
This was
Vish,
fun,
on
guys.
that
See
one.
you guys.
See
You
you.
guys are welcome to